Hey there, Sam Ashers, and welcome to Sam Ash Live, the only place on the internet where you can find Landa Medici of Edison, New Jersey, to bring us these awesome flutes. Landa, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh man, we are excited. So what are we getting into today? What are you going to show us?
So we're doing a kind of a brief overview of the members of the flute family, from the highest pitched to the lowest pitched.
Fantastic. Where are we going to start, on top or on the bottom?
Let's start up on top.
Cool. Everyone loves piccolos. Let's hear it. Let's see how high we can get. So what can you tell us about this? This is a Powell?
This is a Powell. This is an absolutely beautiful instrument. Wooden body, silver-plated keys, has a really nice, warm, rich tone to it, and very easy to play. Piccolos tend to be susceptible to intonation issues. I don't find that as much with this piccolo. This isn't my personal instrument, so I may not be as comfortable with it, but I have found it very easy to play on.
Now, with this particular piccolo now I know sometimes with the Powell piccolos, they'll be made with a resin that makes them less susceptible to humidity, so you can play a marching band, concert band. Is this also the case?
No, this would be more of a professional indoor use only piccolo.
Nice.
I wouldn't take something like this into a marching band field. It's just going to get destroyed.
Okay, let's protect it. All right, let's hear it. What you got?
Right.
Let's hear the chops.
Let's hear a little bit of the full range on the instrument. Piccolo is about an octave higher than your standard flute, so it's a little high pitched.
Yeah.
That's the top little register up there.
If you weren't awake when you started watching,
Welcome.
You're very awake now. Welcome to the Flute Hour. Okay. Piccolo is rad. Anything else we can talk about with this guy? Like who would be in the market for this one?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
A very advanced high school student perhaps, but I'm thinking more a college music major or music education major, a professional flutist in the market for a new piccolo. That'd be the right audience for this instrument.
Now when you say an advanced student, are you saying that only A's and B's?
I would think so. If someone's a little less advanced, they may want to go with something a little easier to play, the more advanced instruments.
That was kind of an honor roll joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you see those bumper stickers. My kid
My
is
kid
on
goes
the honor roll at
That's your honor roll band
Sam
kid.
Ash High School. Well, my kid plays a Powell piccolo. What does your kid do? Well, that's awesome. What can you tell us about? I mean, there's always interesting things that I'm always curious about with woodwind instruments and stuff like that. So is it pitched any particular way? Is there any transposing or anything like that?
That's a good question. If I'm not mistaken, long ago when piccolos first came around, they were pitched in the key of D. So every now and then you'll get some really old music that you'll have to transpose on the fly, but majority of the time it's pitched as written. So it's pitched in the key of C. Piccolo music is going to be in that key.
You don't see D piccolos anymore?
Nah.
I can't buy one?
You probably could. You have to scrounge up for one on eBay maybe.
I see. But you can't special order them. There's no D piccolos.
Nah.
Because it'd be useless.
Right. Antiquated. Cool, but antiquated.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what else you got for us? What's next? So now we had piccolo. Now we're going down a step.
We're going down a step to your standard concert pitch flute. What you see when you think of a flute, it's one of these guys.
Awesome.
This is another Powell instrument. What exactly model? PS601 is an absolutely beautiful instrument. Powell flutes they're one of the names in flutes for many years.
Powell flutes in Boston.
In Boston, where all the flutes come from. All the American flutes.
Right.
All in that area.
Boston.
Big fan of Powell instruments, a big fan of this flute. Absolutely beautiful hand-cut Powell head joint on it. Something you get standard, I think, with majority of their professional instruments.
Cut by actual flute players.
Cut by actual flute players.
Right, so you're not getting people just in a shop cutting these, assuming things that they don't know about because they're not instrumentalists. This is cut by a flautist.
Right, they go back and they test them again, make minor adjustments where need be. They really do take a lot of care into the making of their instruments.
That's great.
Yeah. Do you want to hear it?
I do want to hear. You said this one is one of your favorites?
I like Powell as a brand.
Okay.
They've been around for a long time. They're very established and for good reason.
You like the history. You like the American Boston history of. What about different foots and things like that? Does this one handle that?
That's a good question. This is it's pretty standard. It's an open hole flute with a B foot on it. So something maybe again kind of runs into the same area. The person that would be appropriate for this piccolo.
Okay.
We're talking about the same kind of musician, and a super advanced high school student, or maybe somebody in college who's not necessarily a flute performance major. Flute education, something along the lines of that.
So I have a question. When I was in college, I was a percussionist.
Okay.
And so I always showed up with my stick bag.
Right.
And in the stick bag, I had drumsticks, snare sticks, marimba mallet, things like that. So are you saying that a flautist can show up and like unroll their bag across the table and they've got like each of these in there? Or is it more likely that like I'm the pick player in the band?
That's a good question.
I'm the flute player.
9 out of 10 people, especially in a university setting, are going to have a standard flute and probably a piccolo as well.
Right.
The lower auxiliary kind of harmony flutes generally don't always own them because they're just not as commonly used.
What about Philharmonic players? Like people really at the top of their game.
If
Do you think they have
are,
a mixed bag of flutes?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably. If you have the money in your arsenal for them, you probably have them.
Okay.
But they're again not as commonly used as your standard flute or your piccolo.
So this is the Powell Sonare 601?
Powell Sonare 601.
Let's hear it.
All right.
Let's hear what we got. So you said when we think flute, when we close our eyes and picture a flute, this is what we're picturing.
This is what you're seeing, right.
Okay, let's go for it.
Got that nice low B, which is actually really easy to get out on this flute. Any flute player knows that that's kind of a tricky thing, and it's very easy to play. The dynamics are easy to control, and it feels well made. It's got some weight to it, which is nice to have under the fingers.
Right. Yeah, definitely. When I hear flute in my head, I think that's the tone that I hear more so than what we've done so far.
Sure.
Is there any weird? I mean, I don't want to ask the same question for each one.
Sure.
I mean, is it pitched the same way? I mean, obviously not in the same register, but in the same way that the piccolo might be. And
yeah, flute is pitched in C, concert pitch. You don't have to transpose.
So there's no transposing, so that helps
flute
composers
players got it easy.
and whatnot. Just read and write.
Yep.
Easy enough. What's next on the agenda? What we got here? This one looks like a little more bendy, a little more saxophone-esque.
It definitely is a little more bendy.
The saxaflute.
This is saxaflute. I like that.
I'm not a woodwind guy.
This is an alto flute. After your standard flute and your piccolo, this is probably the next most common that you'd see. Alto flute's a really cool instrument.
Well, it's got this sweet like duet attachment.
Yeah,
You just put that at the end and two people play?
That'd be awesome. Wouldn't that be great?
What?
You could like
I
train
know.
them together. That'd
Should
be
we
awesome.
try?
I don't think it works that way.
We could try.
The reason you get 2 head joints is because I'm short.
Why do we? You're short.
Because I'm short, and with the full head joint on it, I have a little bit more of a difficult time. Thanks. I don't feel so lonely down here.
Man, what is it like to walk around like this?
Everything looks very tall.
Watch what happens when I do this.
That feels about right. Everyone in the world is taller than me.
Okay, you're short. What does that have to do with this?
So, with the shorter head joint on, I have a much easier time reaching the end of the flute.
Okay.
With the full-length head joint on, it can be a little cumbersome. So a lot of times with flutes, you'll have to sacrifice the option of comfort or affordability. A lot of them, this Pearl in particular, they offer both head joints. So now I could still technically play on a full-length head joint, but where my right arm is, it's just super uncomfortable.
Yeah,
so they give you the
okay.
option to have both, which is really nice.
So you're saying this might be comfortable for me, but that one's more comfortable for you.
That's right.
Now, I hate to sound like the guy that's like, this one's black, that one's silver. But I did notice that these keys are bigger.
They are.
Seem bigger.
They are.
Is it just the nature of the instrument? You have a larger diameter actual flute, so you need larger openings, bigger keys to cover them. And what are we talking?
All of that I think is relevant too, but it's also a larger bore to the instrument itself. So the larger keys kind of give me a little bit better grip, better control, better stability on the instrument itself.
Okay. That's awesome. I'm just going to kind of guide these down so we get a better view of everything we're talking about here. If you'd like to play it, man, please feel free.
These also have, of the other flutes that we talked about, these actually have a little bit more relevance in some jazz music. You'll hear a lot of alto flute being used in like jazz ballad sort of stuff. So a lot of
flute?
Yes. No one plays
People out there got it.
No one plays Yaz flute.
Someone out there is going, I know what he's talking about, the Yaz flute.
No one plays Yaz flute.
I know one guy who plays Yaz flute. He's good at it. He's slow to start, but he gets there.
He gets there. He gets into it.
Let's hear it. I'd love to hear it.
beautiful. I've always wanted
that
an alto
one-
flute. It's a gorgeous tone.
That one got a little spiritual for me. Like as soon as you played it, I sort of bowed my head and I was like, ooh,
You like feel it.
what's happening?
Right, you feel it.
Jazz flute.
Yes. Flute.
Yeah, I like it. That's sorry, what did you classify this one
This
as
is an
again?
alto flute. It's actually
Okay.
pitched in the key of G. So it's
Nice.
the only flute in the common flute family that's pitched in a different key.
Still don't have to transpose though.
Generally, parts are written for it.
Why would you play
Because-
anything else? Why give yourself a hard time and have to transpose all the time?
I don't know.
We'll just have bands full of flutes and percussion.
I like it.
And no, brass transposes. I can't
Yeah.
even put brass in
Nope.
there.
Just
Is there any
flutes.
brass instrument that doesn't? Does tuba transpose?
I was going to say maybe tuba. Right? Some tubas are pitched in C.
Fair
about
enough,
it.
fair enough.
And trombone.
Who's this one for?
This one, that's a great question. So
Who's buying that one?
that's a good question. A lot of times with flute, alto flutes, if a teacher has a well-established music studio, they have a whole lot of students, if they're running their own flute choirs, this is something that would be super beneficial, really nice to have. Alto flute's not necessarily a solo instrument, but you will find contemporary compositions for orchestras that ask and require an alto flute here and there. So
Okay.
professional flutist who's got it in the budget, a flute teacher who has a large ensemble, if they do any flute choir work, definitely something for universities that have a large flute program.
Are there any flute choirs in Edison?
Not in Edison, but Drew University hosts a great flute choir day every year. You should check it out.
Do you have to play flute to be in the ensemble?
You do.
So they don't need percussionists or a timpanist?
No,
Timpani and flute choir.
that'd be great.
Can you,
You
put
should
in,
start that.
Can you put in a good word?
I will.
Thank
I will
you
do
for
what I
coming,
can.
Landa. We appreciate your time. No, we're going to move on to the main event, the thing that I've been excited about, that everyone's excited about. It's off screen here. It looks like something that holds up our equipment, but it is an instrument all on its own. We're very excited about that. Before we go to it, though, just because this is a very specialized instrument, I did want to say that coming out very soon is going to be a guide into how to pick out your first flute. So as we get to back to school and the fall season and stuff like that, we just shot something with Landa. It's going to be coming out soon. She's going to show you step by step kind of how to go through and how to pick out your first flute. So please look out for that coming soon to Sam Ash YouTube channels. Please like, share, subscribe to see more about what we're doing. Check out our Instagram channels to find out when we're doing great live streams like this. And now to the main event. Please introduce us to this amazing apparatus.
Okay, so this is a contrabass flute. It's kind of the
Contrabass.
contrabass. It's a little bit of the unicorn of the flute
Right.
world. You don't see a whole lot
Doesn't
of them.
contra already mean bass? So this is like the base of the bass?
Bass.
So you had bass,
Right.
and then this is like sub
Extra.
contra bass. This is what makes this flute is what makes people's license plate rattle when they're driving down Edison.
Yeah,
is this
that's
guy?
and when you play this, and you can actually feel it.
Okay.
It's a really cool sensation because it's just such
Nice.
a low vibration.
Cool. Oh, I can't sing that because
No,
it's licensed
copyright,
music.
you can't. That doesn't count.
So cool. So what else? Is there anything else? Those pads are like silver dollars.
They're huge. They're absolutely huge.
And isn't this made of silver?
I don't know if it is actually silver. I have a feeling it's probably silver plated just because the amount of tubing, I couldn't imagine how much it would cost. Just cost alone and
Right.
the weight alone.
Yeah,
on
because
a-
like imagine each one of those as a silver dollar, man. I mean, you're talking $50.
that's many
just in
dollars.
Keys.
Many dollars.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know. That's crazy.
This is a pearl. It actually is really neat. It comes with this awesome stand. You have the option
Wow.
to play with the stand or not. I'm little. I prefer to have the stand when I play with
Are there
it.
people that play this without? Like they treat it like an upright bass. They just put it on the thing. and-
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah. This is a very cool
I'm
thing.
down.
They're rare to come by, really neat. It also comes with a very cool case, which I think we're going to show
Yeah.
after the fact, which makes
I'll pull up the case now.
Okay.
I want to get all the questions out before you play it, though. 'cause
Okay,
I think we'll
let's-
go
let's
out on
go
you
with
playing it.
questions then.
Who is buying this?
That's another really good question. This is a little bit more specified than the other flutes that we talked about today.
Right.
This would be great for kind of the same audience where your alto flute, but in my mind, I instantly think universities. If
Okay.
they have a large flute ensemble, flute choirs, a very strong flute program, or even a strong composition program to give comp majors the opportunity to work with one of the odder instruments that are out there.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I went to what I consider a very prestigious music school while I was working on my composition degree. I've written for symphonies and all sorts of stuff. I have never once dawned on me that there is a contrabass flute that I can add to this mix. So when you say specialized, I'm thinking specialized. But now that I know they exist, I think they're very cool.
It's got the same kind of register as like a contrabass, but more of the metal tone that you expect from a flute, not so much the reediness that you get from a bassoon. So it just kind of adds a different depth to things.
Now, I was moving things around. Did we talk about like keys or pitches or octaves or anything like that?
We did not. It is pitched in the key of C again, and it's 2 octaves below your standard flute.
2 octaves below.
2 octaves below.
Your standard flute.
Right.
Okay, so piccolo, flute.
Right. Concert flute, or whatever. Alto flute.
Okay.
There is a bass flute, which we don't have on hand right now, but that's kind of in between the alto flute and this big sucker here.
Well, that's disappointing. What are we doing here?
I don't know. Why are you asking me?
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. We planned this. You're
Can
just
the
the
case
talent.
open?
I don't know. I've never done this before.
Velcro.
I think this is where,
You got a zipper over there.
This 80s technology is what's throwing me off here. Okay.
So this is the case that comes with this flute, and I was so surprised
What
when I
is
saw
this?
It's a cleaning rod, because you got to clean out your spit.
It comes with like the largest drumstick I've ever seen.
Percussionist, you would say it's a drumstick.
I
And a little
know.
cleaning cloth too, very cool. The last time I saw a contrabass flute, it was in this colossal case that looked like a coffin. So the fact that this comes in such a nice compact case was really surprising.
Compact.
That is compact. Look at the size of this thing.
This is bigger than my luggage.
Look at the size of
I've
this
gone
thing.
to JFK with less than this. Oh my gosh. You're right though. It is
For
fairly
what it
compact.
is, it's pretty compact. And we actually weighed it earlier. With the flute inside the case, it's only 25 pounds, which was pretty surprising. This is going to be a while, isn't it?
It is going to be a few minutes. Wow.
The case has a
That's
handle on it
incredible.
for making life easy to transport. It's got
Right. Okay. Do we
backpack
have
straps.
Do we have wheels? We got
wheels.
We got drumsticks. No. Okay. So all right. So this thing. I mean, this is what's bugging me about it. Is that like
You would
what do you
really
do?
want for the head joint area.
Is it gravity? You drop it and it just.
No. So you take the little cloth that it comes with.
This one or this one?
You would take this one
What is this one?
for polishing for the outside to get all my
Okay,
fingerprints off of it.
fingerprints.
Right.
This is for spit.
Spit.
It's for fingerprints.
Right.
Fair enough.
And you're more going to be concerned with the head joint. We counted it before. It actually breaks down into 7 pieces, which is kind of neat. You got one little elbow
Again,
joint.
I want to illustrate. When I was in college, I played a 5-piece drum kit. 5 pieces. She brought a flute that's got 7. There's 7 pieces. Okay, so what do you do?
So it's got, well, it just compacts. Fits
Okay.
inside this guy.
Okay.
It's very cool.
This mouthpiece is bigger than a lug on a tom.
It's huge. It's huge. It's
It
massive.
just shocks me looking at it.
These things are so cool. They're rare to find. I've been playing flute a very long time. I have a degree in flute
Man.
performance. This is maybe the 4th time I've had the opportunity to play one. So they're really very cool, very rare things to have available.
So you've seen this before.
I have. The last one I played on
That's
was made
pretty
out of PVC, which is kind of the cheap way to go about things. This is very neat
This
to
is
see
my
an actual
7-piece PVC Home Depot.
Mm-hmm.
Are we sponsored by Home Depot? Oh, it's Lowe's. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. They don't sponsor us. Awesome. Well, you know, I think we've gilded the lily enough, as they say.
Sure.
You know, a little fancy Chaucer term. I don't know. Let's hear this bad boy.
Again, I think this would be such an opportunity for any college, university that has
Right.
a strong flute program.
Right.
I did a lot of flute choir in school. We didn't have one of these, but it would have been so neat if you did. It just really expands the range of music that you can play.
Right. So before we actually play, I mean, one of the things that in our research, you know, was just the idea that I thought was clever is that it kind of rounds out the harmonies, right?
Right.
So truly, if you want to, if you just have this burning desire to write for flute or play for flute, and that's all you want, you have this contrabass flute to just round out all your harmonies. Now you can hit notes that you couldn't hit. That's very cool. I think we're going to go out on you playing. I think
right.
that should be the last thing they hear. So thank you all so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
We appreciate you coming to Sam Ash Live. Look forward to more Sam Ash events. Go to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook to find out when we're doing these things. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming up, especially as summer hits, so please look forward to that. Landa of Edison, New Jersey, Sam Ash, thank you so much for joining us in the studio
Thank you for
today.
having me here. It's been
Thank
a
you
ton
for
of
your
fun.
knowledge. Absolutely. You've educated us so much. And please take us out on this wonderful contrabass flute.
All right.